My guest today needs no introduction. He's a man who has excelled in both spheres of politics and in business. But in this year, 2016, he's seeking to lead a political party to win an election. The question is how? And what is his big vision for this country today? My guest today is the flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party, Dr. Papa Kwesi Nduom. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
First of all, many have been asking, you've excelled in business. How did you do it?
Well, you know, as in any human endeavor, you must have a vision. You must know what is it that you're looking for. But you must also have the competence, the ability to get it done. And then carry with you the kind of discipline that's required in that field to get the work done. And essentially, that is it. But then when I come, I also carry with me my faith. And I believe that my faith is important. It is a faith that tells you this is right, this is wrong. It tells you to be patient sometimes. It tells you to forgive sometimes. But it also tells you to do the right things so that you can indeed gain customers. And then, of course, I have family values. It is those family values that enable my family to come with me.
What are these
values? So that whatever it is that you need to do. Well, you see, you must learn to make your home not just peaceful, but to be productive. Your home must support you. You can't go out of your home angry. You can't be arguing at home constantly. Whatever you do at home, it shows outside. So the value that says, I run a family, I manage a family, I work with a family, and so I must be able to work that well, okay? Because it takes work, it takes effort, it takes forgiveness, and so many other things. So if you do it well, those values that you carry with you, those family values, they also help you out there. So essentially, those are the things that are necessary. I didn't talk about anything financial. I didn't talk about anything technical. The technical things, they come, you learn, you pick people, you know, some people lend you their expertise here and there. But it is those kinds of things, you know, the discipline, the work ethic, the doing the right things, your faith. Those are the things that matter. Those are the things that help.
When you started out your business some years ago, what was your vision? What did you want to achieve?
Well, I didn't start off as a business owner. I started off as an employee. And I tell people always that you must learn how to work for someone else. You must learn to manage whatever it is that you do in an enterprise because it gives you the opportunity without the risk of losing your capital or without the risk of not having money. It gives you the opportunity to work in an enterprise that you learn something. You learn something, you acquire good work habit, that you learn how to be excellent at what you do. So for me, it is learning what I learned working for 2 or 3 or 4 different companies and picking up what it is to interact with people. Not just the human interaction, but the kind of human interaction that also enables you to win business, enables you to get work done and get it done successfully, enables you to, in the line of my business where I was doing professional services, to allow you to win a project or to win a job, get it done, bill for it, and collect your money. Okay, so learning all of those things. Then when an opportunity came, then I was able to translate that into some call it entrepreneurship, some call it business ownership, and so on and so forth.
Okay, you run businesses in Ghana. In the past 7 years, has it been easy running a Ghanaian business?
Well, it has never been easy running a business in Ghana, or in Africa for that matter, because I have had predecessors. Even you go back to the man called Pa Grant, George Grant. He owned big businesses. He had offices in Europe. He had a shipping company, and so on and so forth. He did exporting of logs and so many other things. He had European employees. But then at some point, the business went away. Was it just because of something he did personally, or because of politics, or because of other things, the business is no longer there. He does have grandchildren who are alive, but there's no business. So even from then, we found that if you go back, there have been difficulties for Ghanaian-owned businesses all the way down to now you get into the 1970s, and you have the people whose businesses were seized from them, the Sians of this world, and so on and so forth, whose businesses were seized by the state. Some went away and went away miserable. Some died in agony. And now you come to the 1990s and the 2000s, and there are people whose businesses today have collapsed because of high costs, because of unfair competition from others. So the terrain, it has been tough, but you must be tougher yourself and determine that I want to do this.
And I'm asking this question, Doc, because we've heard from the president. He says that the economy is a resilient one. It has been good over the period. And so I ask you, as a businessman and a politician, has this economy in the past 7 years been good for the businessman?
The economy has been terrible for business, but Ghanaians have proven resilient. So it's not the economy that's resilient. It's the Ghanaian spirit that in many areas, in spite of high, very, very, very high levels of taxes, in spite of very high levels of interest rates, utility pricing, and all of those kinds of things, in spite of all of that, and especially in spite of the difficulties that government institutions place in the way of business people, Ghanaian people still persist. They still want to be in business. They still want to do business, and they're still investing their monies. This today, I've had visits from at least 4 different people who are in business, who are telling their stories of difficulties here and there. But in the end, none of them is wanting to quit. They're all looking for a way so they can ride the wave and hope that at the end of all these difficulties, maybe in a year, 2, 3, or whatever years, something good might happen. So no, the difficulty has been with the economy. If the president is thinking that something wonderful is happening, maybe he does not know and doesn't understand because he's not a business owner. What he gets at the end of the month does not depend on some customer deciding that I want the goods you're selling or the services that you're selling. So he doesn't know. But those who are in the know, they understand that this is and has been a difficult environment, but there's a resilient spirit. There's a good Ghanaian spirit.
What has government done wrong in handling Ghana's economy?
Well, what has government done right? That should be the question. Okay, because anywhere you look, if I want to get a permit, if I want to get a license to do anything, you name it, a mining concession, wanting to drill for oil and gas, a banking license, anything, get a license for television. Everything comes with a difficulty. Okay, so even that one, there's a problem. Registering a business, there's a problem. Buying land, there's a problem. And then you get into the environment itself. Whatever you decide to do, somebody has a better idea that let me go to China, to America, to Japan, or somewhere to find something cheaper to come and sell that would be in competition with what is it that you are doing that is employing Ghanaians. So there are difficulties. Inflation is high, taxes are high. We have a business in all of our businesses. We run a quarry business, we run a manufacturing enterprise, the hotel business. All of them will tell you that their utility costs for electricity and that sort of thing has, in some cases, more than tripled since December. Now, if you run a hotel, you can't go and triple your hotel room prices. You can't. You can't triple the cost of a meal. Okay, so it is a tough environment to be in. But what is it that you're going to do? We can't all give up and go home. And some of us believe that no one is going to come and solve Ghana's problem except us, Ghanaians. So we must persist. And we must persist and hoping that one day, the environment will be good and we will be recognized as people who know the terrain and who can get things done.
Okay, we'll talk about the politics and in this election year, the decision making that Ghanaians would have to make based on their conditions of living over the past 6 to 7, even into this 8th year. But let's talk a bit more about what has been current in recent times. In business, in every sphere of life, corruption has been one issue that has been discussed globally. Even in recent times, we're learning that the president has been speaking today in London, talking about what we are doing in this country to fight corruption. Are we doing enough to fight corruption in Ghana?
Well, the president shouldn't be talking about corruption.
Why?
The president should be doing actively, by example, what will deal with corruption, because corruption steals significant funds from us in Ghana. In my estimation, at least $1 billion a year, corruption. And so the first man on this land, the president, should not just be talking. He should be doing things that tells you and I that we don't like corruption. And this is what I am doing as the president of this republic, and therefore, you do your part. And what am I talking about? You know, it is easy for politicians in government to go after politicians who do not belong to their political parties. It happened in the Kwame Nkrumah regime, it happened in Rawlings' regime, it happened in Kufuor's regime, and it is happening now. You see, the best example is you work with me. You are in the same political party. You have done something wrong. I make sure that we use you to demonstrate to the rest of the country that you may be close to me, but you've done something terrible, not against me, but against the state. And therefore, we punish you.
Is that what he has failed to do?
That is not happening, okay? There are examples and examples of people, allegation is made, even some findings are made against them. They are moved from one ministry, they go to another ministry, or even worse, they land at the presidency.
Give me
as a minister of
Dr.
state.
Nduom.
Well, I don't have to. You do know examples of such people, and they are there. My point is that it must be leading by example. And in Ghana, it is clear that many people go into government to collect assets. So when there's a law that says when you are going into government or even going to become a member of parliament or a minister, you must declare your assets and give it to the Auditor General. Well, it is kept in secrecy. What I have been saying over and over is that a president must lead by example and say, I'm going in there, here are my assets. At the end of my term, I'm coming out of there, here are my assets, so that we can examine them. The media, everybody can examine them. I've been saying this over and over and over. John Dramani Mahama won't do it. Nana Akufo-Addo won't do it. I have done it. We've said we're all supposed to pay taxes. It's an indication. What you see on somebody's tax return, which should be examined by the tax authorities, whether it's correct or not, make it available. The American presidents do it. The British prime ministers do it. In our circumstances, our president must do it. So people will say, even the president, this is what he does. He pays tax, and let him show it to us. Okay, let him show it to us. And we have also said that the Attorney General, who is also a Minister of Justice, is wrong. Is wrong. You can't say that we're sitting around the same table and one of us is the Attorney General, and that if you go and do wrong, human nature, sometimes it says to people that I can't take my colleague minister to court and get him prosecuted or get her prosecuted. So we say separate the two. So let the Minister of Justice be the president's lawyer, and let the Attorney General be an independent prosecutor, so that no matter who you are, no matter what your relationship is with people in power, that if you do something wrong, you get punished.
What you're saying is not new. You've been saying this for a number of times.
Right?
Many have been asking that it be done. Why do you think it's become impossible for it to be done?
Well, first of all, it is not impossible. Some people have refused to do it, okay? And it takes the right person with the right attitude to get it done. And obviously, I'm saying I can do it, and I will do it. It is important for it to get it done. That's why I'm saying, let not this president go to the UK, go to sit in London and talk about things that he is doing to stem the tide of corruption.
Has he done enough to talk about corruption and how to fight it?
If we're talking fighting corruption, I'm saying that it hasn't happened.
At all?
It has not happened. There are some people that are in court. Okay, our president didn't come and say, this person has done this, has done that, and whatever. We will make sure, and we are making sure that this person, answers for it. It hasn't happened. Now, I'll give you an example. In Kufuor's administration, a minister of state, it's alleged that he stole $40-something thousand on a Black Stars trip. Okay, 46 or so $1,000. Now, what is interesting is that that minister of state was not a member of the MPP. He came from the PNC party. And some say that it was easy for that administration to prosecute him. But then other people from the MPP, there were allegations against them. Nothing happened. Okay, so there's been a trend from the J.J. Rawlings' time in this Fourth Republic to Kufuor's time to former President Atamil's time to now, that I protect my own. But those other people, they are in jeopardy. Okay? Now, it is wrong. It is wrong because it doesn't prove anything that we are serious about fighting corruption. And the corruption, when I talk to people, I say we have two twin evils in Ghana. One is tribalism, the other is corruption. We remove those things. We rely on competence. We rely on what you can do, your qualifications, and then we make sure that you do something wrong. We take care of you in a way that you will feel it.
Okay. Now, Dr. Nduom, whilst we're talking about corruption, I need to ask you, have you ever taken a bribe?
A bribe? For what purpose? Okay, there's no way. I've not been put in a position where I would have to take a bribe in order to give something to somebody. So no.
Have you ever given a bribe? No.
Many people have asked, though. I remember when I was in consulting, when I first came back to Ghana, I was doing a job for an organization. And all of a sudden, in some envelope or something showed up in my office, some account numbers and some things, not for banks in Ghana, from outside, with something that says, you know what to do. Of course.
That was an inscription.
Yes, of course. I also said in my head, I don't know what to do. And so I did nothing. But it is important, you see, one thing that I was taught when we were doing professional services work at Deloitte & Touche in the US, they sat us down, gave us lessons about how you deal with government, and that certain jobs you stay away from. And that by all means, if you don't have to do any job for government, don't do it. Okay, but stay away from certain types of jobs, because they understand that some politicians anywhere in the world, they want undue advantage, and they want to get where they haven't worked. Okay, so it's a lesson. And so in the US with Deloitte, they teach us from the very beginning, you file your income tax returns every year. So when I became partner, it became a necessity. It was mandatory that the firm will take its own tax people to do your income tax return to make sure that it is done. So I've learned from that consistently, so every year you do it, and you account for it. Because you never know when somebody will mount an investigation against you. And if you haven't done the right thing, governments all over the world, when they don't like you, that is the first thing they look for. Have you paid taxes? They will mount serious allegations against you, that you don't pay tax, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And if you haven't done those things, then you are caught. Those people who lost their businesses in the 1970s, the late 1970s, that's one of the reasons why.
Corruption.
Okay, no, it wasn't corruption. It was the government said they hadn't paid the taxes that was due to government. And so we don't enforce it, we don't, we don't educate people, we don't help them, but when we want to get them, we use the law against them. And that's what happens.
For you, you're seeking to be president of this country. If you become president with your administration, you find someone engaged in corruption, what would you do?
Well, first and foremost, if there's an allegation, we will investigate it seriously, immediately, and that person will be asked to step aside somewhere for us to conduct that investigation. If they are found culpable, if they are found to be in the wrong, whatever it is that the law prescribes, that's what will happen, and we'll make sure that the first time it happens, everybody in Ghana will know that that is what has happened and this is what we have done. Because you need an example, a clear example, that there's this problem, we took care of it.
Okay.
And so if you don't do it, and in Ghana, what governments like to do is that they'll come to you and level an accusation. There's an allegation that you've done this, you've done that. Maybe they'll get some people to do some investigation and they write some sort of report and they just leave it. Because they've said, we've soiled the person. We've thrown dirt on him. And they just leave it. So you find many cases like that are in Ghana. Okay, and the people are hanging. Did I do wrong or not? Okay, and the person will be saying, I didn't do anything wrong. So it has become a habit. Okay, so we must break that habit and say, if you've done something wrong or if there's an allegation, we prove it or we say you are clean. But if you're not clean, then you must suffer the punishment. And that is the way of the world in those places that are going somewhere, that are doing well.
Okay. Let's briefly talk about something that has a lot of human emotion to it in recent times. There have been a number of media reports about either men or women or children being attacked with a corrosive substance, acid. What do you think we are doing wrong in handling that particular item, acid?
Well, you see, there's a primitiveness in our society. Primitiveness, it's a harsh word, but that is what it is. And it shows every time. All of a sudden there's a noise that there's a thief. And people will come from all over with sticks and stones, and before you know it, if you don't take care, someone is dead. They've killed the person because he's suspected to be a thief. In the same way, someone says, I'll show you. So they go and get the acid and do it. Now, there are many cases, but then we never know the consequence. What happens? What happens to the person who commits that act? That is a horrible thing to do. But then, acid is imported for a reason. And there are certain people who have licenses to do those things. So we should go to the source. We should go to the source and find out how and where people get those things from and punish those people. Punish the source, okay? If you punish the source, first of all, you limit the supply. And then anybody does it, you punish them severely. Not some light punishment, you put them away for life. Okay.
But if I go to the open market to go buy acid, and I get it home and I do whatever I do with it, how would you be able to trace where I got the acid from and who sold it to me?
It won't take you long. You will find out where they got it from. There's a source. We don't manufacture that stuff here. It comes in, and there are certain people who use it for legitimate business. But other people also then find a way to push it out there. And there's a source. See, any civilized society, and remember I'm using certain words, primitive, civilized. Civilized societies, when some things happen, they dig into why it happened, not just who did it. So it's not a personal thing. Why did this happen? What enabled this to happen? So let's close the source. And if we do it, many things that are happening wrong in this country, we'll get rid of them. And you have to have your mind be in that mode. It's not just punishment, but it is also correcting a wrong. It is also prevention. And if we do prevention, many things in this country that we're suffering from, they wouldn't be there any longer.
Okay, let's talk a bit more now about your political ambition. This is your third time of asking Ghanaians to vote for you as president. Why?
But it's not the first time that I'm asking for anyone to vote for me, because I started from at the assembly level to ask people where I come from to let me become their assembly member. And I had to demonstrate that I was serious about it, because they said, why is this man coming here for us to vote for him to go to assembly? He can't be serious. There must be some other reason why. But I was able to go through that and go to the assembly. I was also able to go through to become a member of parliament against many odds to get there, because my constituency, before I got there, they said it was one of the world banks of the NDC political party. But we were able to cut through that. Now, becoming president is something important. You see, if I'm president of my own company, even if I have 50,000 employees, whatever we do, if we gain benefit, it benefits myself, my family, the 50,000 employees, and their families. That's all. And then if we have something left over, then we use it for corporate social responsibility. You give something to someone here and there, you help someone here and there. But if you are president and you do something right, it benefits millions and millions of people in this country. On the other hand, if something goes wrong, just like we had Dumso, it also affects millions and millions of people. So my motivation is that public service is something good after you have prepared yourself and after you've demonstrated that you have something to offer that is positive. And in this country, look at us. Abundant talent, abundant natural resource, and yet look at where we are.
Okay, but we've heard you tell us over and over again why you should lead this country on 2 occasions. This will be your 3rd time. Why do you think Ghanaians have not listened in the past and have not voted for you?
Well, there are a multitude of reasons, and for me, it doesn't matter. I believe that we have had the situation in Ghana where many people somehow believe that some people are entitled to their vote, either because they are from the same tribe, okay, or even they are from the same political party, and it doesn't matter who that person is. You go to parliament, you see some people sitting there, and you hear what comes out of their mouth, and you wonder, how did this man or this woman get to convince some thousands of people that they should vote for them to go to parliament? And in the same way, you look at the performance of people in government, and you say, so how did this man manage to get votes so that he can become president of this republic? So sometimes it can get complex, but it's a simple matter that we need to move the electorate to go beyond what they are used to. And that is a challenge for people like myself, because when you are selling competence, when you're selling, I can do this, people want to see what is it that you can do. And some of them, they don't pay taxes, so there's no accountability for them. So for them, any little thing that they get is fine. Some people also, they expect nothing from government, that they know they won't get anything. And so they say, Obiara Basa. And so if we're going to go and vote, whoever gives me 10 cedis, 50 cedis, or some little thing, a T-shirt or whatever, that's who they'll go and vote for. Those things, they work against people like myself, because what we're selling is our competence, our ability to get things done. What I'm hoping is that there are enough young people out there who have gotten some level of education, who understand that they have a future at stake. And so there's a consequence to the vote. So that's why I'm telling Ghanaians more directly this time that you get what you vote for. That whatever you vote, whoever you vote for, there's a consequence. And it's not an event. You vote someone into power, it's for 4 years. You either suffer for 4 years or you gain for 4 years. So, and it's up to the people to decide, because before the election, I'm okay. After the election, I'm okay. My life will go on. I'm doing business, I'm doing other things. But I'm asking the person who is voting, what is your life like? What will it be like after you vote? Okay, because many people, 2 days after election, 1 month after election, they say, Dr. Nduom, I need a job. Or life is tough. And I'm tempted to say all sorts of things, but I can just smile and just walk away.
Okay, so you're looking to the educated youth this time to vote and let you win this election?
Well, it's not just educated youth, because, you know, educated youth in Ghana, they are still in the minority.
Yes.
Most of our people don't get past basic school education. So we're trying to appeal to people in different ways. It's interesting today, if you say, what's up? You go to many villages, they know what that is. They may not be able to even read, but they know how to turn on the phone, and they go to WhatsApp and they'll send images. They know how to do mobile money and all sorts of other things. So the election is something different. It's not just go and mount, you know, some campaign and do a rally and bring people. You know, people are doing all sorts of things without necessarily gathering in one place. So we're also trying to find those means to reach the younger people, okay? And many of even the older people, I sent a message to someone, an older person, and I could hear that he's calling his son Isifu to come and read it for him, okay?
Because he could not read.
Because he couldn't read, but he can see the images and he can tell whether this is right or wrong. So I'm talking about the younger people, okay? Those who are below 30. There are many more of them than people my age and above. I'm past 60. There are few of us around. And many of those people, no matter what you do with them, it's a lost cause. It's the younger ones.
Should your age and maturity determine whether you become president of Ghana?
It's what you have done. See, because, you know, we're all here. Okay, some have been here for 20 years, some have been here for 40 years, some have been here for 70 years. It's not just how long you've been here on this earth, but it is what you've accomplished and what your capability is and what you are able to deliver. So that's why I ask people that if you're considering voting, and I believe everybody should vote, if you're going to vote, then examine the people and find out what is it that they have done in their lives that would give you hope that you vote for them to become president. They will do something positive that you can benefit from.
Okay. Dr. Nduom, do you consider yourself as an Nkrumahist?
My friend, that question is neither here nor there, because there are millions of Nkrumahs all over the world. And so definitely I admire Kwame Nkrumah. I admire his teachings. And a lot of the things that he did are things that I find worthwhile. But these days, saying that you are Nkrumahs, it doesn't say much that differentiates you from a lot of other people, because I go to Chicago and someone is wearing a Kwame Nkrumah T-shirt. Okay, I went and met some people. They're from Latin America, and he says I'm Nkrumahs. Someone from Benin says I'm Nkrumahs. So it doesn't gain you political advantage anywhere. Okay, and certainly not in Ghana either.
Dr. Nduom, I asked this question because there are some who've suggested that maybe it's about time the Nkrumahist parties in this country come together in a coalition.
But that's why I'm asking you, who are the Nkrumahist parties? Because there are many people in the NDC who would swear to you that we are Nkrumahs. So why? And there are many more of them there than there are in CPP or in other parties. So for me, that question, that issue is neither here nor there. And I do know today in Parliament, 2 members of Parliament from the MPP, who I know from the 1990s, were with us in either NCP or NIP or PHP and became whatever. So they are everywhere. So who are you going to go and combine with? The point is that, again, some people, they use Nkrumah's tag as an entitlement. That because Kwame Nkrumah, was there and he did some good things, so we should use his name, and we should recite some of the things that he said, and because of that, some people will vote us into power. It doesn't work.
Who are these people?
There are plenty of them around. It doesn't work. There's a proverb that says, no matter how tall your grandfather was, you must grow your own height. So you can't go and hide behind Kwame Nkrumah and say, I go and mention his name as magic, I'll win power. How many of our young people today can say anything appreciable? Now you can read some books. Okay, at some point they were banned. So let's not go there. The point is that anyone contesting should contest on their own steam. Just like John Dramani Mahama can't go and say, J.J. Rawlings was this or was that, therefore vote for me. He can't. And so Nana Akufo-Addo can't say, oh, K.A. Buzia was like this, or this person was like that, so vote for me. Or even today, Nana Akufo-Addo can't say that in Kufuor's time, these things were done and they were positive, and therefore you vote for me when I get there. It doesn't work.
That's what they're doing, in fact.
Well, I'm saying
they speak of their record and say, vote for me based on that.
No, Nana Akufo-Addo doesn't have a record in government. He's not been president. Okay.
He speaks of the MPP's record.
Well, I'm saying he's trying to, and that's what people do. Okay, but it's not him. Just like it wouldn't be me, because I worked in that same administration with him. And also, John Mahama is not Atta Mills. As a matter of fact, in their case, they are trying to actually kick Atta Mills away somewhere.
Are they?
Absolutely. You have not heard J.J. Rawlings say that, actually thanking God that Atta Mills is no longer with us, that if he were with them today or with us today, they would have problems. You haven't heard that. You haven't heard what other people have done. Since when did you hear anybody from the NDC this year, call on the memory of Atta Mills? Unless the leaders go to Cape Coast and they are looking to gain some political advantage, then they say, make us a son to replace Atta Mills. But when they come back to Ghana in their comfort zone, when I say Ghana, I mean Accra. For me, I'm from the Republic of Elmina. So when you come to Ghana,
Republic
Accra,
of Elmina,
yes.
You say?
Oh, yes. We will kick you away if you come and play the fool in our backyard. So when they get back to Accra, then they get into their comfort zone. And then Atta Mills is a nobody. They've used him already, and they have thrown him away. That's what some people do in politics. So I'm just saying that no matter who came before you and whatever, we are here. And I keep saying every time, we are where we are. We are here. We have these problems. We have these difficulties. But there are opportunities. Who do we want to sit in that high seat, okay, to drive this vehicle called Ghana into the proper destination where the people are prosperous and our institutions are strong and this nation stands?
Why should Ghanaians put you in that seat?
It's very simple. I have something to deliver, and I've demonstrated that I have the discipline to live my life as an individual, and that's wonderful. It's important. I have demonstrated that I like public service, and so that I've been even with a government that is with another political party, and when I got there, that I delivered. And there are concrete things that people can cite, and I can cite, that to show you that I left something positive there. And again, that we have difficulty in Ghana, and it has to do with the economy. It has to do with getting jobs for the young people. And I have demonstrated there that I know how to handle an economy, not just the Ghanaian economy, not just an African one, but an international one. I know how to negotiate things with people from different parts of the world on an equal steam. And so it's a matter of competence. It's a matter of demonstrated experience that I've delivered something good and something positive that Ghanaians can say, he did this here, he did that there, he did this other one here in the public service, in the private sector, and therefore he can deliver. So that's, for me, that is what is important.
Are you the most competent among the list of candidates for this year's election?
I have no doubt whatsoever that, just for the sake of time, if I put Nana Akufo-Addo there, you put John Dramani Mahama there, you put Papa Kwesi Nduom there, we've all been members of parliament before. We've all been ministers of state for other presidents before. Okay, we've all lived our private lives before. I have no doubt in my mind that if someone goes through and checks different things, what did he do as a member of parliament? What did he do when he was a minister of state, and so on and so forth? What did he do in the private sector? What has he demonstrated in his discipline in their life? That when they go through all of that, there's one person that will be standing, Papa Kwesi Nduom, without doubt. You go and do your own research, and you will find that.
Okay.
At the end, what many people will say is, oh, we know this man should be our president. We know that he should be our president. But maybe he won't win. And so I won't vote for him.
But is that a valid fear many have?
You know, the person who is suffering Should that be their fear? The person who's suffering today, who does not have a job, who's drinking, infested water with all sorts of diseases, the person who can't go to school, the person who can't afford to go to hospital, is saying, I can't vote for the person who has demonstrated that they can do the job, and so they'll go and vote for someone who they know can't do the job, but they think can win. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. And so I ask people these days, they say, but what is a wasted vote? What is a vote that you waste? It is a vote that you go and cast with anticipation that something good will happen, but then you are disappointed that nothing comes out of it, that in the end we sleep in darkness, people die. Fridges and TVs, they collapse, jobs collapse, and so on and so forth. That's a wasted vote. It is where you have resources and we take them and we give it to foreigners. That's a wasted vote.
Okay. Now, in the central region where you come from, the Republic of Elmina, as you call it,
yes,
a lot is happening for sports. There's now a Cape Coast Stadium. What would you do to improve sports in this country if you become president?
Well, you must know what sports is all about. And it's not just because you ran or you played football or whatever else. But it comes from the knowledge of what sports can do for a community, for people's health, and for life in general, and for business. Because sports is big business everywhere else in the world. And what I know is that we must start sports of any type from the infant level. Okay, from infant level. So, interestingly, we used to laugh at Americans playing soccer, football. But then what they have done is you go to all sorts of communities in the US, and they have got soccer fields everywhere, everywhere. The district, the city, everybody. So we too, our districts, our municipalities, they must have fields that the people can play in. And they organize competition. 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 10-year-olds, they give them little trophies. And then the parents, they are running after their children, and they are playing and playing and playing. And that's how come the girls, American girls, they play football or soccer better than Ghanaians, okay? And they can whip you easily because they started from way back there. So it must become a habit for the nation. So that sort of thing, it must work. But we start from the top. And we're saying, Kufuor came, he built a big stadium in Isipon, in Tamale, and they fixed up Accra Sports Stadium, Kumasi, and therefore I will also build one in Cape Coast. They will go and build one here. It's wrong. It's misplaced priorities, okay? Because we haven't done the foundation. It's not there. So you go to sports at that level, low level, there isn't anything there. It's just some private people who have put up some academies for profit. They're not even cultivating the players for the local league because there's nothing there. They are doing it so that some foreign team can come and be attracted to a player. They sell that player and make some money. Okay? So it is that which we will do. And I've already put it on paper, even from the last election, that we will ensure that every district, every municipality has some field that they can play, well put out there, and engineer competition from kindergarten all the way up so that people's skills, you don't wait for the bones to set and then you decide that I want to do gymnastics or I want to do swimming or whatever else. You don't do that. You start from down there. So that's what we'll do. And so that is why I always like to use examples. You come to Elmina, we have built, now it's about 50% complete, a sports stadium. A sports stadium that when we are done, we'll have boxing, we'll have swimming, we'll have table tennis, there's soccer already, they will run track and do all sorts of things there. And we want to encourage young people to go there and use the facility, and it's for community development. And that's why we also have a community team now. And if you see the difference that the Elmina Sharks have brought to our community in Elmina, you'll be amazed. Where on Saturdays and Sundays, there's nothing going on. Now, 1 o'clock on Sundays or Saturdays when the Sharks are playing, You'll find taxis and people coming, women going out there to sell. Many people, when there's a good team in town, whether it's Kotoko or Dwarfs or some other people, you will see the hordes of people.
When are we going to see
them happen
in the Ghana Premier League?
Well, now you're saying something that makes me happy. Because I say that Kotoko people should watch out. The Hearts people should watch out. The Chelsea, Berkum Chelsea, all of them, wow, all stars. When the fearsome Elmina Sharks arrive at Premier, you will see that soccer has arrived properly in Ghana.
What's different about Elmina soccer?
Well, it's everything that comes with it. Because we want to make sure we have players that are paid well. Okay, so they are happy to be where they are. We want other things to come so people can have some commerce. They can earn something from the team being there. We want people to stop wearing the jerseys of Messi and whatever else, and maybe wear one that says Alassane or Apia or whatever from Elmina Sharks and buy those things. And then, you know, you go to some of the new stadia that have been built. You know, they don't have certain features. We are putting in some 4 or 5 or 6 private boxes, so companies can rent them for the entire year, entertain their customers and whatever there. So there are a number of things that we want to do. What we have seen in America or in France or in China or whatever, that's what we are trying to do there. Because I'm not a tourist. I don't go to just look and say, oh, isn't this nice? And then I come home and relax. We want to do those same things that they do there, because our people too can profit from them.
Okay.
The same thing that we apply to the private sector, to our businesses, that we would also apply to the public sector, so that what we have seen that works somewhere, that is what we'll bring to Ghana. And I'll tell you, I'm told that Asedun Katia said that, Ghana will be interesting if I become president. I want to tell him positively that Ghana will be a wonderful place should I become president of this republic.
Okay. And for the Elmina Sharks example, do you look to replicate that across the country?
Well, we are trying to assess some other people. So I don't want to mention the names. We have invested in another team in Ghana. And now we want to do something wonderful for women's soccer. So we have just acquired a newly promoted first division team that was in Elmina. They used to be called Bafana Ladies. We've changed the name to the Sea Lions Football Club. And we're now trying to find out who they are, what they do. But we want to make women's soccer become something interesting. And so we are going to sponsor a competition at the end of the season and make sure that there's some excitement. And we also want to do some entertainment, do some things for people to come and watch women's soccer in Ghana. You know, after this season ends, we have some things, some promotions that we're going to do.
How has politics affected your business?
Well, politics has not affected my business because I have a mind that says, I'm not interested in anything government. I'm not going to go out there and look for business from government. I want to suffer with the private sector and earn my way. So I'll go and get, I'm not one of those, our bank is not one of those who have gotten big deposits from government. It's good if you can get it. But we want to go out to the marketplace, to the stores, to the farms, to business people, to anybody.
What actually meant is this? What actually meant is this? You are a politician and a businessman. How does the politics side of things affect your life as a businessman?
But that's what I'm trying to say to you, that for me, when I get the start, when I'm doing business, I'm doing business. There's no political consideration. So I'm not going to go and take GN Bank to some location because of politics. It doesn't make sense. So we'll take it where we can do business, where we can earn a profit, where we can do some good. So politics doesn't come in. So for example, if someone comes to work for me, and they think that, oh, I'm a member of PPP, so we give you a job, and you come and sit here and fool around, you'll be gone. It doesn't work. Business is business. Politics is politics. We do politics after business. It is, if I wasn't doing business, I wouldn't be in politics, because it is tough to be there. And I don't want to go and do strange things to get some money to go and do a campaign with. So after we've done our business properly, and we have some money that we can apply to politics, yeah, we'll do that. But I also want to get into government where I owe nobody anything. I can go and just do work for the people of the Republic of Ghana and not go to take, I'm not going to go there and get a car or get a house or get any of those things. Thankfully to God, I have those things for myself.
Okay.
So I don't need anybody's anything there. So two separate things. They don't cross.
And you're able to draw the line perfectly.
They don't cross.
At all. Okay. My final question to you, Dr. Nduom. You're a man with such beautiful ideas of what you can do for this country. Would you be disappointed that on so many occasions you tell Ghanaians to vote for you and they never get to vote for you to become president?
You know, becoming president is not, let's say, a life-defining thing. It's a service I want to render. So if the people who I'm seeking to serve, they say that they prefer somebody else, well, that's their choice. I'm doing the things that fulfill me in my life, in my businesses, my family life, and all those things. I'm fulfilled there. I'm happy. Now, the question is, if you are Ghanaian and out there, are you happy? So it's up to you. It's your choice. If you want me to come and work for you, I'll come and work for you. But if you also decide that, no, I'd rather have Akufo-Addo or Mahama or somebody else to work for you, well, you take your choice and you deal with the consequences.
Okay.
But I will be here, and I will be a happy man in Ghana, whether I'm in government or not.
I said finally, but let me break the rules on this one. We've heard the name Ejumera, we've heard Prepapa Prepon. What's going to be new this time for 2016?
Well, there is not anything new, but we are letting people understand that when you say PPP, it's Prepapa Prepon, it's Party Papa. We also say Ghanaman Yanshemon say that no matter what, we are here. We will do whatever it is that needs to be done, whether we're in government or not in government, to make this nation great and strong and its people prosperous. That's all that we're interested in.
What makes you laugh?
Oh, there are plenty of things.
Like what?
You would have to ask my wife.
Why? Is she the one that makes you laugh?
You have to ask her. And so it's a privileged thing. So when you ask her, she will know.
She knows what makes you laugh.
And you will know. But remember when you said Elmina Sharks?
Yeah. That makes you laugh. That makes you happy.
There are some other things, music.
What kind of music do you love?
All kinds. All kinds.
I'm sure you have a favorite.
Oh, you know, everybody who's around me knows that there's one song, Sewakoto. That's the...
Why? Why that song?
Sewakoto. It's a love song. It's a proper song. And
You're a romantic man, aren't you?
I can also move on. I can sing you some James Brown. We can move up. We can move up all the way to these young people.
Which ones? Which new young ones do you love?
Semiodo Carpenter.
Oh, Bisakeda, innit?
Look,
Thank you, thank you, Dr. Nduom, for speaking to us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.